Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited. So we've got a bunch of people here in chat already asking questions. Everybody looks like everybody wants to learn about social selling, either for themselves or for their team. Why don't you give us an intro? Who are you? What do you do? Why are you the expert on this? I'm excited to
Yeah,
dive in today.
for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Gaglione. I'm a sales leader over at Warmly. I started, in sales as a sales development representative. And as much as I loved cold calling at the time, I soon started learning and loving that LinkedIn was a really great place for me to find my buyers. So I started to really study. I started to learn the people that were starting to post a little bit on LinkedIn. And this was a couple years ago, so it's definitely evolved a lot. And since then, I have joined a couple different startups, including DEEL, where I brought their global payroll product to market. And now over at Warmly, we analyze signals. So people that come over to our website, and one of our biggest triggers or reasons why people come over to our website is through LinkedIn social selling. So how do you get people on LinkedIn to show an interest in your company and to get them to go from there? So that's what we'll be diving a little bit deep about. But on the side, I also work with companies to help them implement their social selling strategies throughout their orgs.
Love that. Thank you. For everybody else, obviously, Mark Furstein, co-founder, CEO of Recapped. And then I'm joined by my smarter, better looking co-founder as well, who is all things tech. So I guess diving right in, Melissa, can you walk us through the framework at a high level of what you are implementing with your customers? Let's say, on the side, right, you're helping to teach them the importance of social selling. I'm sure you're helping them create kind of their own voice, but what does the playbook look like? Like if someone wanted to do this today, what would that actually mean?
Yeah. So it starts with an audit. I think that in order for us to get started, we need to understand what it is that we have been doing, what has worked, what hasn't worked, but also an audit of how were we feeling when we were either posting or when we were commenting or where we were engaging. Were people struggling with what to think of? Were they having these moments of imposter syndrome of feeling that they can't comment on a CEO's post because they don't have anything good to say? Do they feel scared to share their own expertise, even though they're in the trenches doing the work every single day? What better person to share their experience? Are they intimidated? Like, what is it that is preventing them from fully achieving and sharing their expertise and pretty much just putting themselves out there? So very similar to if we were going to teach a cold call masterclass, it's like step one is what has been holding you back? And is it really that big of a blocker? Are you really just unable to do it? If you don't have a computer, then yeah, that makes sense. But if you're just afraid because you're looking at a CEO's post and you're thinking that you don't have anything valuable to share there, well, I'm gonna tell you maybe not. So I think we kind of start there. Then we start to dig into, what are the content pillars? Who are you? Because what we're seeing on LinkedIn is more and more people are starting to post and engage. However, are they really being them? And when you're not being yourself and you're being someone else because you're seeing that, oh, this really big sales guy gets a bunch of likes and comments and he has closed $100 million at Gong, you know, and you start acting like them, that's not you. And people catch on to that and they recognize it. And it's easy to go that route, but you kind of have to capture yourself there. So then we work on content pillars individually. And then from there, after we analyze the different content pillars, we do practice and we see what's working, as well as at the same time, we're focused on engagement. A lot of people like overlook engagement, but those comments, how you're commenting, strategic commenting plays a critical role. So we'll take a look at that. From there, now we start playing in the DMs. That's where the magic really happens. How do you get someone off comments to the DMs? How do you initiate a DM? How do you talk to people? How do you get them to, communicate back with you? How do you book the meeting through the DMs or directing them to your website where you can go and prospect into them a little bit later? Just because someone is engaging with you on LinkedIn doesn't mean they're going to buy from you, but they could buy from you in a few months. It could be in a few years. They could know someone who might want to. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And from there, it's just now momentum. How do you keep it going? How do you keep up engagement? How do you keep up posting? How do you keep up DMs? How do you stay true to yourself? How do you stay interesting? How do you keep eyes on you? And it takes a little bit of time, but once you get rolling, you're rolling. And that's kind of the process of it. It's not brain science, just sometimes a little bit of accountability and a little bit of structure and like strategy goes a really long way.
I have so many questions. Can you walk us through? So let's say you post something about, identifying website visitors with Warmly and how that converts into social signals and you're able to book meetings. We're a happy customer, by the way. Highly recommend it. Great tool. You post, you get 1,000 likes.
Mhm.
What is your strategy to then take that off into the DMs, like you said, where you can now actually start converting meetings? Are you going straight to the point? Are you cutting straight to the chase? Are you introducing yourself? Like, what would the playbook be for you if that was the case?
Yeah. So first, if it's something more specific, and if it is a company driver, let's say that, if we just increased our funding, we know that, or we're releasing a new product, that's a pretty specific, like almost call to action. That's a pretty specific reason why someone would come to the website and what I can share with them. So depending on what the post is, or like almost like the bat signal that you're putting out, is what you're going to use to like kind of bring them in. So let's say we do a post and we talk about how we're releasing either a new feature. From there, I know that now the people who are either engaging, one, I can take a look to see, all right, are these like my typical engagers? Is this my community? If they're my community, I have most likely already been in their DMs because I do encourage people that if people are in your community, they're constantly showing up for you, you should be building a relationship with them. If they are, they're going to naturally convert on their own because they have been with you for months. You have gotten to know them. Maybe you know their dog's name at this point. Like you have a relationship there. When they're ready to buy, they're going to convert. They're going to tell you, like, okay, Melissa, like, I really want to meet with your team. I want to learn about it. Great. Like now it's not even pitchy. Now it's like pals talking about how we can help you. So that's one. If this is somebody coming in who is kind of new. They're not typically in my engagement pool. Maybe we're not even connected. Then afterwards, they viewed my profile and I saw that they also came to our website and they clicked my custom UTM. So that means that I know that they came to our website because of my profile. Okay, now there's something I can take a look and I can even dig in deeper because now at this point, if they came from LinkedIn, clicked my UTM, went to my website, oh, they were looking at our competitor page. Oh, they were looking at our pricing page. From there, I'm now getting a detailed map of what was this person thinking? What was their strategy here? And do I want to go ahead and just, talk to them about it? So I think a lot of people also with like signal-based selling, they love to call out the signal. I don't really think we need to call out the signal. A little different for Warmly because obviously if we see you're on our website, we're promoting our own product. But if you're not Warmly, you can go ahead and be like, hey, like, blah, blah, blah. So glad that you engaged with my post, curious. Have you considered or have you checked us out in comparison to this competitor? So using that data of like where they were on the website, what they looked at, or any case studies or things like that in some of your messaging can help too. I do also very much enjoy doing quick videos. So if this is a first time engager, just easily sending a quick video. You could do it from your phone, you could do it from Loom, you could do it from anything. And just going ahead and being like, hey, so glad that we like were able to engage. Glad that you're new to my network and checked out my LinkedIn. Just wanted to be a resource of anything. I typically help companies or people with this and this. Let me know if there's anything I can do. And just kind of opening that door a little bit, just to keep it there. But now if this is someone that kind of keeps showing up, they're a bit warmer, you can dig in a little bit more. Like, hey, I saw that you keep engaging on this certain topic. Like, are you trying to improve in this area? So you can start to map things out. And as you post, you start seeing your regulars and then the people that aren't so regular. And then you start seeing a pattern of like, this person keeps showing up more recently. And you just use it in your conversations as well. So for the DMs, it is case by case, you know, you have to use your best judgment there. You can just go for the pitch, of course. I think there's a balance of pitching in a sense of not just regurgitating what your product does, but focusing on like what it was that they were looking at and their interest and tying that back. But I think that also in the past, I think that when people beat around the bush for too long, that it started to cause like a lack of authenticity. And it was like, oh, this person only asked me about my dog because they followed up with a pitch and they feel like kind of weird by it. So I don't think it should take you days to get to a pitch. I think that, you know, buyers kind of want to feel seen. So if you see them and you acknowledge it without such a hard ask, then they'll be receptive to it.
Ujjwal, I see that you've
That's a
muted yourself. I'm going to jump in real quick because I know you're going to ask a question.
I
There's
got a
gonna-
lot from Melissa.
Yeah, no, this is fantastic. If I may jump in, it seems like a lot of what you're really doing is like trying to drive the human element of it, right? It's not just like, hey, this is a spear point to then have a broader conversation where I can go in, right? And so, like, just anecdotally, I've been posting a lot more frequently on LinkedIn, right? I've gotten, I don't know, like 13,000 followers or so. Not a lot, but a decent amount in terms of,
I think that's a lot.
thank you. One of the, as my webcam dies and I have to switch to the backup, one of the biggest things that have actually been really helpful. So first off, just by posting and even without following up with any of the leads or people engaging in it, nowadays we're getting a bunch of demos where people are like, hey, I've been following your content for 3 months now. We weren't ready. Now all of a sudden this problem came up. Here we are. We need recapped. Right. And so it's like organically really started building, which has been tremendous, I think, just for my like self-confidence of building this and like, is anyone actually reading these things? But the quick tip that I think that I'd like to share is like, I've actually just been leaving voice notes. So like if I see you engage, I'll leave a note and I'll be like, hey, Melissa, saw you've engaged with a couple of my things on, buyer enablement. Is that something you're actually just personally passionate about? Or is this like an actual problem at Acme Corp? And something like that, where it's just like, hey, just curious, is this something that you're even thinking about? Like that's actually been playing really, really well. So that's it. That's all I wanted to share. Uj, I'm sure you've
It's
got.
just you're calling out the interest and then you're just asking if they're interested in learning more. And sometimes you're not following up with like, here's a demo, but if it is like, oh, I've been looking at, it could be something related, something, in between. Even if you just send them like a podcast or, oh, this is a really good person to follow for that, you
Yes.
start building that relationship. So it's okay if the first ask isn't necessarily here, book a demo with me. It's okay, you are interested in that topic. Here are some of the people that are spearheading that and talking about it might be helpful, and just that's it. Like literally,
Yep.
that's it.
Here's value. That's it.
Yes.
It's something that we talk about all the time. Value at every touch point. So you're not just reaching out. They know when you're reaching out that you're trying to get a lead, you're trying to book it demo, you're trying to close a sale. But value at every touch point helps you foster better relationships. I love that piece of advice. Melissa, you mentioned a couple things. Hey, by the way, nice to have you here. I think it's one of the few times we got to meet. But you mentioned that sometimes it can take, weeks, months, or years for something like this to actually pan out, for social selling to actually work and see results from it. I mean, even for us, Mark said that now 3, 6 months in, we're starting to see some leads generate from it, or interest generate, conversations generate from it rather. How does a company justify the strategy when it's hard to really justify the KPIs or returns on
Yeah, it shouldn't take that long to be very honest.
it?
It takes long to build a following and like
Mhm.
to build up the number of followers, but to be very candid, the number of followers really doesn't matter. Like a lot of people think that they need to have like 50K followers in order for someone to listen to them. It's the furthest of it. So it takes time to build up the follower count for sure, especially on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a slow burn, 100%, but there's so much fewer users on LinkedIn than there are on other socials. So when people see like 50K followers on LinkedIn, at first they think it's really small, or even 13K followers, they think it's really small. That's like,
It's like
your
top
13K
3%.
follower, yeah, it's like the top percentile. And it's almost like having like a million on TikTok at that point. Like, as crazy as that sounds, it really is. So it takes time to build up the follower count, but to justify the KPI of it, and I hate to say it, like, when it comes to personal branding and employee generated content, I know sales is going to cannibalize it, which just means they're going to turn it into a KPI. Here's a posting schedule. Here's what we want you to say. Here's all this stuff. Like, we turn everything into a KPI, which is good for accountability, but not always best practice, in my opinion. However, the return on it is, it's so much more than just meetings booked. A lot of people think that they're measuring meetings booked. And at the end of the day, you're getting a lot of more top of funnel information there. You're casting a wider net. You're getting more people to view and understand and see who you are in exposure. Like, LinkedIn is this big billboard all the time. People spend so much money on these big ads or even LinkedIn ads. You know how expensive a LinkedIn ad is? It doesn't even get that much reach. You could just have your employees and encourage them and give them a strategy to be consistent and be themselves and authentic to who they are while being affiliated with your company. And so it's not like they're only talking about Recapped every single day, unless they are like a content strategist, and that's literally their job, is to make content for Recapped. But the affiliation of it, and people going, wow, I learned something from John, and John is a rep at Recapped. And what I've learned from John is this power of async selling and just making sure that you're tapping on your buyer's shoulders every week. Like, they start to learn with what good selling looks like from, like, okay, this is a good product. Like, I think back to in the beginning when I first started seeing the AEs at Gong post, and they all like the same background, they all the same, now they kind of do as well, but they all the same background. This was like the earlier days when we were seeing, like, back when Sarah was there, back when a couple others were there, right? And I would be like, wow, the people at Gong are incredible sellers. And they must be, because they have a product that is making them better. And you know how many times I begged my leadership for Gong? Like, I only wanted Gong because if that was making them this good, I wanted to be this good. And we see that with a couple other companies, but we do also see it with non-sales related companies. We're seeing it in like HR tech. Like, it makes it a lot easier for you to it's almost like these different types of influencers and thought leaders in these different groups. And just because you're not technically a talent acquisition specialist, you sell to TA, doesn't mean that you don't have a unique point of view and that you don't have anything that you can share to help them. You are literally studying the challenges of them every single day. So you have something valuable to say to this industry as well. But anyway, to justify it, you can't always look at meetings booked. It helps when you have a tool like Warmly, because you can track who's coming in from the landing pages and the UTMs. And when we're doing a really big social push that day, we're able to see like the web traffic go up. That's an easier way to justify it. But otherwise, you got to look at it as more than just the sales qualified lead or the sales accepted lead, however you want to go about it. And you have to look at it as the overall impact to the company, and it's almost like a blend of your marketing dollars with your sales budget.
I love that. The way I've always kind of talked to our team about it is like, listen, whether you're promoting Recapped or not, that doesn't matter. What you're really doing is building a personal brand that is going to last you the whole of your career, right? Recap may be just the first of many ventures that you have, right? But being able to build the brand and to not believe in the outcome of it is to say that, Nike and Lululemon and any other brand that's out there, like they only got that way because of advertising. It's like, no, everything goes into building that brand, right? And when you see Michael Jordan, dunk, you're like, I want Nike shoes because those shoes will make me dunk. Same thing, right? So great analogy.
It's just
Um,
what happens in B2C. What works in B2C works in B2B.
yeah.
It's so
Usually
funny.
we're
It's
like
like
10
we think
years.
it's so different. Like the mind buys the same way. It buys based off of influence. It buys based off of value. It buys based off of the problems that they're currently facing and what this solves for, the feelings of it, the trust that they have with the person. Like it's the exact same thing, just SaaS.
Yeah, we're usually a decade too late to adapt from B2C. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. Let's bring you up here so that way you can start answering some of them live. I know Steve Reed, I saw you have one. I don't know. If you want to raise your hand, I could call you up. Let's see who else has them.
Jeffrey has a couple of good questions. I actually want to ask something along those same lines that Jeffrey wants to know about is how we talk about here at Recap, and Mark has encouraged me to post and build my brand on LinkedIn more. I'm stuck behind the screens. This is a great opportunity. This is one of the first things that I'm doing that's I guess public facing. But there's inertia, there's hesitation, right? And when the proof is more social proof and anecdotal and it's hard to put numbers behind it, what would you recommend for a company that's looking into getting into a strategy like this for the first time? Like how should they implement it without driving like this is what you should post, curated content, and letting their team be themselves? How would you recommend a company getting into something like this for the first time?
I have them start with a small group. Anything, any type of project, any type of experiment, you always start with like a smaller group. To do a big rollout of like 300 sellers all posting on LinkedIn and this is the process and all that stuff without anything really tested or figured out or what works with your brand is not the easiest. So I like starting or suggesting that people start with their small group of like 5 to 6. And from there, what starts to happen is those who weren't in the group start to be like, I want to be in the group because they start seeing that, oh, John, who's been consistent for 3 months, he's sharing his wins on how this meeting came in, how this dead opportunity came back around, how now he's having conversations with his ops in the LinkedIn DMs, which happens to me all the time. I literally sent a contract this morning in a LinkedIn DM. It's where buyers are going to chit chat and to talk. And so they start seeing those wins and then they start seeing like it's not so scary because now that John's been posting for 3 months, when he first started, he had like 2 likes. Now he's really consistent. Oh, wow, now John's doing really good. Well, now John is like on a roll and having these other people are commenting, these influencers are commenting, and people are encouraging him. And then he gets invited on a Recapped podcast, like things like it starts to go and other people start to see it. And so I think starting with a smaller group gets people to, and the brave ones, gets people to then eventually buy in of like, okay, I don't have to be anyone different. I could still be me. There is a path forward. It is possible. And why not me? Why can't I book meetings through social selling? Hi, Steve.
Steve, I think you're muted. Our first
Yo. Hi,
panelist.
Melissa.
All
How
right.
are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Awesome. Loving all this. This is awesome. So, one of the questions I have for you is often when companies want their employees to join the LinkedIn tribe, right? They'll create a banner image and some other assets and say, "Hey, everybody, use this." But you've also talked about authenticity. Where do you think the lines need to be drawn there? Because I can see value in the branding and the extension, for the consistency of it, but also honoring the fact that people respond more to real authentic people.
Yeah. I think having brand assets is really helpful. I think a lot of people they might not want to make a custom, you know, banner of their face on it. Like truthfully, they might be like, "Great. So glad we have this banner that I don't have to think about another day of. Makes my life so much easier." It starts to become this balance of obviously the LinkedIn profile is owned by the employee. It's not like you're taking someone's Facebook and telling them to change their profile picture to have the company's name on it. That sounds crazy, right? It's the same terms for LinkedIn, as weird as that is, because it is owned by them. So it's this balance of like, hey, here's how we can support you. Here are all the resources. And, if you want to do something a little bit different, you're welcome to, right? You can do that. And here's how you're seeing. If you're seeing John is being really successful, this one person that keeps posting and they're getting inbound leads, let's study what John's doing. And so you start to bridge that gap of like the art of the possible and how it's happening while John is still being authentic. And you're also not saying you have to post this word for word, but you're giving them the tools too. So you're giving them like, hey, we just had this article come out, or we just had this branding, all this stuff, right? You're still giving it to them. And then the other piece of it is helping them or encouraging them to find their voice. Because when they find their voice and they are authentically themselves, then there's a balance of maybe they're posting 4 times a week, and 2 out of 4 of those posts is about their company. So now it's a balance of like, okay, they shared that they took their dog on a 16-mile hike. Maybe not, I don't know, that's too long. But you know what I mean? Like they did that, and other people connected with them because they also like hiking and they have the same kind of dog. So now those people are getting pulled in and they feel connected to this person. Now that they're connected to this person, they have similarities, then they see that they post about your company. They're like, oh, that's what they do. Oh, okay. And they're more inclined to read those company posts when there's more of like a connection with that person because of the personal and more authentic posts that they've already shared. So giving them the resources, of course, encouraging it, not forcing them, and offering, some ideas and some concepts of, hey, we want you guys to post, not for just us, but also for you. Here are some of the benefits that you'll get from inbound leads to making your sales cycles be smoother and faster, to you being seen and having potential opportunities in the future to be on podcasts like this, or even greater job opportunities. Look at it as an investment in yourself. And those who take advantage of it use them as the example.
Very good. Hey, thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, Steve, excellent question. Melissa, excellent answers. For those of you that don't know, Steve Reed is one of my favorite human beings, sales trainer extraordinaire. So appreciate you joining. I'm going to go ahead and push you back to the attendees.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, thanks for asking a bunch of questions yourself as well. The floor is yours. And you're actually muted.
I think it should be good now, I guess.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Mark. Thanks also, Melissa. Thanks for the session today. Yeah, I mean, many people right now emphasize on the importance of the personalized videos, DMs on LinkedIn. Do you have any experiences with these personalized videos, DMs? Because people are talking about like 10 personalized videos DM to have one meeting booked. I understand the point that around this, there should be also like a brand awareness also from the company, because it's not only the meeting or the sales out of it, it's also the brands that the sales rep are also presenting all the way through the outbounding. Do you think that this worked? Have you heard about any experiences of those videos? Because it's something that's kind of coming back again. I'm trying to understand if that makes sense to invest in such an option or possibilities.
Yeah, I have sent thousands, literally thousands of videos to prospects, whether
Wow.
it's DM or email. I used to have a headline called Queen of Video Prospecting. And then have recently changed it because I'm just focused on a couple other things right now. Have coached enterprise companies and mid-market companies on how they can implement video in their own prospecting methods. So yeah, I definitely know it very well. And it is, for me, and from what I have found, the highest way to convert, to show and tell someone to walk them through a problem, to put something in front of them where they cannot deny. Like, I read this in your 10K report, or I saw someone at your company post about this problem, or I saw that you guys are using this tool or this chat bot and it's not responsive. When you show something to someone, their one understanding of the challenge now becomes right in front of their face. They can't deny it. You're showing it to them. And then you're giving them a path forward of how you can help. And so you're creating trust. You're creating a relationship immediately. You're walking them through something that you have noticed or identified or saw that there was some sort of a challenge and or like a signal, truthfully. And you're coming to them with a sincere way to solve that problem. I think a lot of people use video in a way of like basically just saying the same pitch over and over again. But the way that video is used and the best way to leverage it is to make it very personal. So could I ask you a question? What product do you sell and what's your ICP?
It's an enterprise architecture management tool. Your IT landscape, from everything you own as an IT asset, and what are the business capabilities using the application that are in your IT landscape, what are the IT components, what are your servers, your data centers, what are your data located, what is going on your IT landscape. And this is a tool that's helped to have this transparency on that as a single source of truth. And ICP, I mean, we need at least to have a company that generates at least minimum, when you talk about mid-market, 100 million to at least 1 billion. And the large enterprise for us is like over 1 billion.
And it's the IT professional?
The enterprise architecture, CTOs, CIOs, IT leaders. Yeah.
Okay. And then one last question. What makes, aside from the ICP that you have there, why would you go after a particular account? Is there any reason? Is there anything that's listed in, I mean, you're going after enterprise, so they most are probably public. Are there any things or any reasons why you would go after that particular account? Are they using a competitor? Do they have some sort of a tool that they're using that you can identify? Do they talk about it in any of their annual reports, or are they hiring? Is that a reason why you reach out? Like, what is the reason
Yeah.
or trigger why you would reach out to a prospect rather than a spray and pray method?
Yeah, definitely. They are big company, big enough to have at least 1,000 employee. With 1,000 employee, we can already understand that they need a kind of IT infrastructure. They are also international. They have multiple factories. They are global. So we know exactly that it's not easy for one person to understand the IT landscape, to have everything documented, because this is very important to have a single source of truth. But also, if we, through the different annual reports or the news that they are acquiring a company, they're going through any digital transformation project, they want to expand in Asia, for example. So we know that they need to build up or strengthen or have a clarity on their IT landscape. These are the very important information. That's why the people we are reaching out are mainly CIOs to better understand their strategies. Where are they going in the next 3-5 years? And sometimes they're like, oh, I probably don't know. I have those things in the Excel sheet. I need to reach out to my enterprise architecture or my IT manager to understand what's going on. And we make it very simple for them to understand right now how the IT landscape looks like, but also to be able to not predict the future, but have many options.
So you listed everything, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. And two of the main thing, either art of the possible. So if you want to prepare and go into Asia in the future or all these other places, you need to have certain things in place in order for you to do that, which can change at any time. So preparation is one. The other one is the fear-based, which is you are already behind. You just opened up or you just acquired a new company in Asia. How are you going to like set this up, and more of the fear behind it? So notice how particular that is. Every company is going to be something different. When I send a video, or when you send a video to a prospect who just made an acquisition and the location is in Asia, you know in your head, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to open up a big can of worms. Have they ever bought a company? And I don't know if they know, so look at it as like, I need to do some service here, and I need to let someone know that these are some of the challenges that they're going to be facing. And if they want my help or if they need it, I'm available for them. Like, I truly believe when I reach out to someone, I'm solving your problem, man. So when you come with that much evidence and you show it to them, you do a quick video. You can even pull up the article on your phone and be like, as you're recording here or wherever you want to record, or you can edit it on top or anything like that, and say, I see you just acquired this company. We had a previous client who did the same, and we made it XYZ faster. We made it this much easier, or something like that. They didn't have to deal with these headaches. So the point of the video is not to just say, hey, we help companies do XYZ. Like, the point of the video is for you to put it in their face of like, this is why you need to talk to us today, and showing it to them. They can't deny the facts when it's on their screen.
Yeah, exactly. You make a good point here.
Excellent question. I think this is an influence. Robert Cialdini, fantastic book. I make every new sales hire read it. But one of the things that we talk about there is you want to reciprocate whatever's done for you, right? So Jeffrey, if I create a video for you, just inherently, you're gonna be like, wow, this person took time out of their day to create a video for me. It's gonna get a higher chance of viewing than just an email, especially if we think that email just came from AI, right? Like, no one's gonna read it. So I highly encourage creating videos. Like, we actually just closed the deal where we saw that someone downloaded 6 assets that we had around medic and DEEL qualification. And so I put together a really quick LinkedIn video where I was just like, hey, Jeffrey, noticed you downloaded a bunch of our medic stuff. Usually that means you either just brought on medic as an organization, you're trying to get caught up, or you're really struggling with forecasting your deals because you need a better way of managing and qualifying deals. Here's a really quick 30-second demo how we can actually do that on autopilot for you. We actually just helped another customer like you solve XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And now their deals stop slipping at the last minute. And like, just tailoring it to that point. Like, I love what Melissa said about they don't know what they don't know. They're like, hey, I'm here to solve and be a resource for you, right? If you're thinking about investing in medic, there's a million things that could be potential potholes for why you don't get adoption on that methodology, right? Especially when sales trainers are so expensive. So here's a way to do that. So it could be like very pointed as well, like that. Like, I love Melissa's example where it's like, hey, you just expanded in the East. Here's probably the things you don't know. Here's how we can help. Here's some free resources. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much.
When they see the effort, they're like, wow, you really took the effort to walk me through a 10K report and highlight exactly what I needed here. They do match that effort. I do say that for a video, like, don't just send it to anybody. I would focus on your top priority prospects, your highest accounts first.
And video is also probably one of the few things where you can show that you're actually not AI.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, we're getting there, but
Kinda
just for a little bit.
it's kind of evolving there.
Yeah. Apparently TikTok is filled with AI avatars nowadays. So
I know, isn't it crazy?
yeah. That's actually a really good segue. We've got a couple minutes. I want to give you a little bit of time to wrap up and promote something that's upcoming that is going to be really exciting. Let's talk about AI. Have you seen AI help with either social selling or the creation of content, or how are you using AI in your day-to-day?
Oh my God, every day. Oh my gosh, literally every day. I use it all day long. The other day, I was trying to hang these lamps, and my husband saw me typing it on my phone, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm asking Claude, like, how high and what the distance is. And he was like, Melissa, like, you're ridiculous, because I literally do. As silly as it sounds, but when it comes to content creation, I have on my Claude what's called a content engine. It's one of my projects where I have ingested it with top pieces of content. templates that I've created, other people's flows that I've liked, just fed this model, having it analyze each piece of it. I've also created my own projects where I taught it how to analyze specific profiles. What's this tone of voice? What makes this person successful? Building all of that out. So I use it in a couple of different aspects. One, to study people, because I'm trying to figure out, one, how did Nick Powers come out of nowhere and have the highest amount of impressions over the past 2 months? Insane algorithm stuff that man's doing, while also leveraging it of, okay, here are my content pillars. I'm going to literally talk at it of like, this is what I want to share today. This is what the experience was. This was the findings. This was the win. And then prompting it to put it in one of my 200 templates that I have fed it. So that way it pops out a template. I have it write 10 of them. I choose the one that tells the story the best. I obviously tweak, rewrite a little bit, but it has definitely cut down my content writing from, I mean, like 30, 40 minutes to like 10, if so. I still really, I mean, I want to put the time into it. I leverage it to help me with video scripts. I leverage it to help me with, all things, even planning when it comes to it. So, I mean, why not? Why wouldn't I use it?
It's incredible. It's funny, my girlfriend and I were arguing about what color curtains to get. And of course, she was right. And so we literally had ChatGPT create mock-ups of our living room with different color curtains. And we went and just bought those, right? Like it's incredible.
Did she feed the bot prior to, just to make sure that it went
No, it was on my
that she
phone. So if
wanted?
anything, I lost twice. No, but it's amazing. We were like, hey, based on, an interior designer, what would it be? What would they do? It spit it out. And then I was like, okay, give me another suggestion, because this one is literally what she said. So give me something else. And of course, like, she won 2 for 2. No surprise there. But yeah, so actually your workflow though is like the exact same thing that I do, right? So I have projects. I'll get off a call where maybe we talked about a concept or someone really struggled with it. I take that call transcript, feed it into Claude, and I say, hey, use this call transcript based on these projects of historical, posts, whether from me or from other people that I really admire and like I love their voice. Help me create this story. Boom, that gives me a version 1. Now I'm able to start, tweaking it and going from there.
Yeah. I think where people stop is the tweaking, or they just ingest it with one. I mean, like with my projects, I have put novels of my own thoughts, my own methods, the way I do things, my process. I have thrown novels in there. I try to dump my brain in there. And I think where people do it wrong is they just say, write me a post about how revenue operations managers need to pull this specific report in HubSpot. And then they just post that. And people are like, where are the dashes? This is AI. Like, and that opens up everything, but then that creates a lack of authenticity and also trust. So it's okay to use AI, just still make it your own, like still adjust it to who you are and what it is that you really want to say. Because just because AI says it doesn't mean that that's really what you're trying to say, or would you ever say that sentence to someone? If not, cut it.
Well, and I think that's where like feeding it your own voice
Mhm.
is so incredibly important, right? It's like, hey, this is the Mark way of speaking. Here's what's authentic to me. Because also, like, you have to keep in mind, if you just ask it to, hey, generate me a LinkedIn post about this, that means anyone out there that if they ask that, they're going to get something very similar. And now you're just putting AI slop out there, right? The authentic human content on top of the AI, that's what's going to make it unique, right? It's not, otherwise everyone's just posting the exact same thing over and over and it's regurgitating.
We see that a lot on LinkedIn. It starts to become an echo chamber for whatever topic is hot. Maybe a week later, it's the same thing reposted. But back to the topic and talking about strategies of how you can overcome that. If we're encouraging that LinkedIn is a great channel for you to post and build your brand, how do you stand out when it's so easy to create content, for anyone to create content just with LinkedIn and post just excessive noise?
Yeah, I mean, what's tricky about it is getting more flooded, but it does come back to you being authentic and you being who you are, you sharing those pieces of you that are real, like the real losses, The real challenge is this is also where videos and pictures really come into play because, anyone can write anything now, but you sharing the behind the scenes or sharing a desk that is just, filled with Post-its because of all these ideas that you have, like that's you, like that's what you're thinking through. That's where people start to connect it a bit more. Otherwise, I mean, it can be difficult to stand out. The other piece is just having a high level of engagement. And I posted about this today, these 3 buckets. You're commenting on your prospects' posts, you're commenting on thought leaders of your prospects. So those people's posts, and then the people that are showing up for you in your comments, even if it's 2 people, whenever they do anything, you are showing up for them. So you just have to keep that going. And that's where, okay, now you keep giving back. People are going to keep giving to you. And that's how your post is going to stand out and be bumped up. And the algorithm is going to favor it more than someone that just threw something in ChatGPT and then posted it.
I saw that post. To me, it resonated because it still comes back to building that relationship, showing up for your community, showing up for the people that are there for you. Really resonated. There was another post that you had that I really liked about the Labrador and the pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a pit bull?
I do have a pit
I
bull.
love pit bull. This is a
My
good
favorite
post.
Don't
dog.
get her
Yeah.
started on Pibbles.
I'll only have kitties for the rest of my life. Like I'm so
Yeah.
obsessed with them. But they are stubborn. And
Yeah. Big
they
personality.
choose who they want to give their affection to. So I was telling that to my sales team, like not every prospect deserves everything that, like they might not be a good op, that's okay. We can't devote hours to them. We can't give them a huge 80% discount because they can't afford it. Like you can't do it all for them. So you gotta be a little stubborn, like a little pity. So yeah.
Well, that I think we're running out of time. Before LinkedIn cuts us off, Melissa, do you want to promote your upcoming event?
Yeah. It's oh my God, it's so soon. On the 23rd of May, on Friday, we're hosting a LinkedIn networking, sales specifically and marketing, a little bit of revenue coming in. But it's a LinkedIn networking event here in Tampa, Florida on the Starship Yacht. It's dinner, dancing, sailing, and just a lot of networking. So we're very excited about it. It's the second one, so it'll be good.
That's amazing. I very tempted to get a ticket.
You should just come. It's fun. It's a quick
Listen,
trip.
I want to end up in Florida eventually once I get enough New York winners, which I think I already had like 5 years ago. But Tampa, I hear, is just beautiful. So yeah,
I mean,
if
I
you're in
was a
the
New
area,
Yorker who came to Florida. Like, I really recommend it.
it's only a matter of time. But yeah, definitely, if you're in the area, get tickets, go see Melissa. It's been so great, like getting to know you. Obviously, I've been following your content for a long time, but then through Warmly, like we're customers, and you came on as customers as
Yeah.
well of Recapped, and really appreciate you taking the time today.
I appreciate it too. And you guys have also built a really great product. I said it a million times, especially during the onboarding process, but you guys are helping us make money. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Mission
What we're here
successful.
for.
Yeah. Of course. Thank you. So for next week, we're doing these every week. Next week, we actually have Steve Reed, who came on to ask a question earlier. He's going to be educating us on the 3 incorrects. So these are 3 problems causing chronic sales underperformance. So reps, managers, leaders, come take a look. We're going to have people come up like we did. This is great. Jeffrey, thanks for asking great questions. Everybody else. We have other questions that people emailed in that we didn't get a chance to. So next time, come on and ask them live because you have a better chance of having them come on. But Melissa, thanks again. Ush, thanks again. Everybody, I really appreciate the watch.
Bye. Thank you.
Yes, guys.
Later.